Zainab Bello was the kind of woman everyone admired but few really knew. At 29, she was the only daughter of Bello Properties, one of the richest real estate companies in Lagos. She lived in a massive white mansion in Banana Island, with toll gates and guards who saluted her whenever she stepped out. Her wardrobe was full of designer clothes, her Instagram was full of perfect pictures, and her phone never stopped buzzing with invitations to high-class events. But Zainab was tired. She was tired of fake smiles, fake friends, and men who only wanted her because of her father's money. Every day, someone tried to introduce her to another rich politician or business mogul. Her mother, Mama Bello, was the biggest matchmaker of all. That morning, Mama Bello called her to the living room. She sat on a golden sofa in a flowing lace gown, her face full of seriousness. "Zainab," she said, "Chief Oyamide is asking about you again. He wants to take you to dinner tonight." Zainab sighed. "Mummy, I don't want that man. He's too old for me." Mama Bello frowned. "Old? He is only 4 to 5. He is rich, powerful, and he can protect you. You need someone who matches your status, not one of these small boys who can't even pay their rent." "But I don't love him," Zainab replied softly. Mama Bello sipped her tea. "Love? My dear, love will not give you security. Love is for poor people. We marry for stability." Zainab looked away. She didn't want stability without happiness. She didn't want a man who would see her as a trophy. She wanted someone real, someone who would love her for who she was, not what she had. But in Lagos, real was hard to find. That night, she stood on her balcony, staring at the busy city lights. She didn't know that fate was planning to introduce her to someone very different from the world she knew, someone who would change her life forever. The next afternoon, Zainab dressed in a sleek black jumpsuit and stepped into her shiny white Range Rover. She had an important meeting on the island. As usual, her driver was unavailable, so she decided to drive herself. The roads were busy as always. She played soft music as she cruised along Third Mainland Bridge. Suddenly, her car started making strange noises. "Helm? What's going on?" she muttered, frowning. Before she could react, the car engine stopped completely. The car slowed down and came to a halt right in the middle of the bridge. "Oh, no," she exclaimed. Immediately, Lagos drivers began to honk their horns. Some shouted insults as they drove past. "Madam, carry your fine car Comet from road now. You day block us," one man yelled from his bus. Zainab panicked. She tried restarting the engine, but nothing happened. She picked up a phone to call her mechanic, but there was no network. Typical Lagos. She stepped out of the car in her high heels, looking helpless. Cars zoomed past. Some people slowed down to stare at the beautiful woman stranded by the roadside. Nobody stopped to help. "God, why today of all days?" she groaned. She looked around. The hot sun was beating down on her. She was sweating and uncomfortable. For the first time in a long while, she felt vulnerable. Then she heard a voice behind her. "Madam, you need help." She turned around and saw a man getting off an old, noisy motorcycle. He was tall, dark-skinned, and wearing a reflective vest. His jeans were dusty, his helmet hung loosely on his arm, and there was grease on his hands. He looked like a construction worker who had just finished a long day. Zainab stared at him for a second. He wasn't the kind of man she was used to. I think the engine just died," she said. The man smiled. "No wala, madam. Make I check him for you." Before she could say anything, he walked up to the car, opened the bonnet, and started looking at the engine. He moved with confidence, like he had done this many times. He muttered. "Your fuel pumped on spoil. I fix 'em small for you make you reach mechanic shop." Zainab watched him. She was confused. Should she trust the stranger? He looked like he knew what he was doing, but he was, well, just a construction worker. Still, she didn't have a choice. "Okay, please help me," she said. A few minutes later, he managed to fix it temporarily. The engine started again. Zainab smiled with relief. "Thank you so much," she said. The man wiped his hands on a rag and grinned. No problem. My name N.A. Kunle. Zainab hesitated for a second. I'm Zainab, thanks again. Kunle looked at a shiny car and her designer clothes, then said with a playful smile, even rich people still need help sometimes. ABI. Zainab raised an eyebrow. She wasn't used to men talking to her like that. She gave a small nod, entered her car, and drove off quickly. But she didn't realize she had dropped her expensive iPhone on the ground. Kunle picked it up. He looked at the screen and shook his head. This one go miss a phone. He slid it into his pocket, thinking of how he would return it. Later that evening, Kunle returned to his small self-contained apartment on the mainland. His friend Soccer was already there, cooking noodles on a small gas burner. Oh boy, you late today, Soccer said. Work day tight. Kunle laughed. You no go believe wedding happened today. I meet one fine madam her car break down for Third Mainland Bridge. Soccer looked curious. Fine madam? She give you money. Kunle shook his head. She no even offer me anything. Just thank you and drive Comet. But she dropped this. He brought out Zainab's iPhone. Soccer's eyes widened. Kunle, N.A. big phono. You fit selling by better things. Kunle frowned. Sell wetting no be my own? No, I go return 'em. I know they chop another person's sweat. Soccer shrugged. You too honest, but how you WN return 'em? Kunle turned on the phone. Luckily, it wasn't locked yet. He saw a picture on the wallpaper, a beautiful woman with perfect makeup. She fine, Shaw, Kunle muttered. I go call the last number she dial and find how to give 'em back. Meanwhile, in her luxurious bedroom, Zainab was panicking. My phone. Where's my phone? She shouted. Tai looked up from her laptop. You don't have it? Maybe it fell when your car broke down. Oh no, Zainab sighed. How will I get it back now? Just then, her home landline rang. She picked it up. Hello, she said. Hello, madam, a calm male voice replied. N.A. the guy we help you for bridge. You forget your phone. Zainab blinked. Oh, thank you. Where can I meet you to collect it? Kunle smiled on the other end. You go come my side tomorrow. I go send you location. Zainab hesitated. Go to a construction site? But she didn't have a choice. Okay, send it, she said softly. Kunle ended the call and laughed. This one no-go believe say she go into my world tomorrow. The next morning, Zainab sat in her car, staring at the address Kunle had sent. Banana Island to Ohoduburgo, she muttered. God, why am I even doing this? Tai, sitting beside her, couldn't stop laughing. Babe, are you seriously going to a construction site to collect your phone? You, Zainab Bello, the same person that won't even step into ShopRite without makeup. Zainab glared at her. It's my phone, Tai. There are private things on it. I can't let a stranger keep it. They drove into a busy part of the mainland. The roads were dusty, the air full of noise. Okodas sped past. Hawkers shouted prices for gala and water. Zainab wound up her window, looking disgusted. Finally, they stopped in front of a half-finished building. Men in helmets and reflective vests were shouting instructions, carrying blocks, and mixing cement. Oh my God, Zainab whispered. This is where he works. Kunle saw her car from a distance and smiled. He walked over, wiping sweat from his forehead. Madam, big madam, welcome to our small site, he said with a teasing grin. Zainab stepped out carefully, trying not to step on mud. She looked around nervously. Can I have my phone? Kunle handed it over. Here you go. I even help you clean screen small. Zainab took it quickly. Thank you, she said, about to leave. But Soccer, Kunle's loudmouth friend, came running over. See fine auntie-o. N.A. you our ogre rescue for bridge yesterday. Zainab forced a smile. Yes, thank you both. Soccer grinned mischievously. Madam, you fine pass all these Instagram girls, oh. But you today look like say you no day breathe same air with us. Relax. Zainab blinked. Excuse me. Kunle laughed. Ignore soccer. He no get filter. He talk too much. Zainab folded her arms. Well, thanks again. I'll be leaving now. Kunle watched her walk back to her car. You're welcome anytime, madam. No be only rich people we fit help. We sef get censor here. Zainab paused for a second. She wanted to reply with something sharp, but she couldn't. Instead, she entered her car silently. As she drove off, Tai smirked. That guy is bold. You're not used to people talking to you like that, are you? Zainab didn't answer, but deep down, she was slightly amused. Later that evening, Zainab sat in her massive living room, scrolling through her phone. She saw something unusual. Kunle had sent her a text message. Hope you got home safely. No worry, I no go disturb you again. Just be careful on that bridge. Too many bad people day there. Zainab read it twice. Nobody ever texted her so simply. Most men wrote long, fake sweet messages, trying to impress her. This one was different. Tai noticed her staring at her phone. Why are you smiling? I'm not smiling, Zainab said quickly. Yes, you are. Who texted you? Don't tell me it's a construction guy. Zainab rolled her eyes. Please, Tai. He just said be careful on the bridge. That's all. Tai burst into laughter. Madam Billionaire, don't fall for a dusty worker, oh. Please. Zainab scoffed. I'm never seeing him again. But fate had other plans. The next day, Zainab had another event at Victoria Island. She wore a beautiful red gown and diamond earrings. Chief Oyamide was there too, waiting for her with a creepy smile. Zainab, you look so beautiful tonight, he said. Thank you, she replied politely, trying to keep her distance. All through the night, Chief Oyamide kept following her, touching her hand, whispering in her ear. She felt uncomfortable. When she finally left the event, she was exhausted. She sat in her car and sighed. Then her phone beeped. It was another text from Kunle. Hope say the rich people no stress you today. N.A. how you day? Zainab stared at it for a long time. Why did she even care about what a construction worker thought? But she replied anyway. I'm fine. Thanks. Kunle replied almost immediately. Good. No forget say even Madam Billionaires need rest. Zainab smiled before she could stop herself. A few days later, Zainab invited some of her high-class friends over for brunch. They were all dressed in designer outfits, sipping champagne by the pool. Babe, you're glowing, one of them said. Did you meet someone new? Zainab shook her head. No, I'm just fine. Another friend, Nene, laughed. Abeg, don't tell me you're still rejecting Chief Oyamide. That man is a jackpot. If you don't want him, give him to me. Everyone laughed, except Zainab. I don't want him, she said firmly. Then who do you want? Nene teased. Or are you secretly seeing someone? Zainab ignored them and looked away. That evening, Mama Bello called her to the living room again. Zainab, you're embarrassing me, she said. Chief Oyamide is calling me every day. He is serious about marrying you. Why are you still behaving like a stubborn child? Mummy, I don't love him. I don't want to marry a man just because he's rich. Mama Bello's eyes hardened. Love won't keep your future secure. Don't make the mistake of rejecting a good man. You are too picky. Zainab felt her throat tighten. She wanted to scream that she just wanted someone who truly cared about her, but she knew her mother wouldn't understand. Later that night, she went to her balcony and texted Kunle without thinking. Hi, are you still awake? A few minutes later, his reply came. Yes, why? You miss my construction jokes. She laughed softly. Maybe. Can you tell me something funny? I had a long day. Kunle didn't hesitate. Funny? Okay, you know you're the first billionaire I've ever seen stuck on Third Mainland Bridge. Normally, it's only Danfo buses that break down there. Zainab smiled for real this time. For the first time in days, she felt light. Kunle's life was a complete opposite of Zainab's. He lived in a tiny one-room apartment in Ohodu Burgo. The walls were bare, The bed was just a thin mattress on the floor, and his only luxury was a small second-hand TV that sometimes worked. Yet, he was content. After work, he would return home dusty, tired, but always smiling. He'd share food with his best friend Soccer, who lived next door. One night, Soccer slurped his noodles noisily and asked, "So that fine Madame Don call you again?" Kunle chuckled. "She send texts sometimes. Just small talk." Soccer's eyes widened. "Oh boy, you know they serious. This NA opportunity. If NA me, I go tow some shop. You go just move from wheelbarrow to Range Rover overnight." Kunle shook his head. "No be my style. I know they chase woman because of money. If she like me, fine. If she no like me, I go still day okay." Soccer stared at him like he was crazy. You be better person, Shaw." "Me? I go marry him today." They both burst into laughter. Kunle didn't know why, but Zainab's text made him smile. She wasn't as proud as she had seemed on the bridge. Beneath the makeup and fine clothes, she sounded human. A few days later, Zainab needed to collect something she left in her car when Kunle fixed it. Kunle asked her to stop by the construction site again. When she arrived, the workers stopped to stay. A shiny black SUV parked in the middle of their dusty compound. Zainab stepped out in a neat white top and skinny jeans, her gold earrings glinting in the sun. Some workers whispered, "Who be this fine madam? She resemble actress." Kunle walked up to her, wiping sweat from his face. "Madam Billionaire, welcome again to the world of cement and dust." Zainab tried not to wrinkle her nose as she looked around. It's very busy here." "Busy is good," Kunle said. "It means we get work to feed ourselves." He handed her the small bag she had left in the car. But before she could leave, Soccer came running over again. Fine Madam Don show again, oh." "Kunle, this one in a destiny," he teased. Zainab forced a smile. "Hello. Madam, you WAN join us mixament." Soccer laughed loudly. Kunle smacked his friend lightly on the head. "Go and work, Jay." Zainab couldn't help a tiny laugh. She wasn't used to people talking to her without fear. Kunle noticed her heels and said, "Be careful. The ground here no be banana island tiles. If you fall, we no get first aid kiddo." She gave him a sharp look. "I can walk just fine, thank you." But as she stepped back, her heels sank into soft sand. She stumbled and almost fell. Kunle caught her arm just in time. For a moment, their eyes met. Zainab pulled away quickly. "Thanks," she muttered. Kunle grinned. "No wala. You see why I talk say make you careful." She rolled her eyes and hurried back to her car, but inside she felt something strange. She wasn't sure if it was embarrassment or curiosity. A week later, Zainab's car broke down again, this time near the same area. Frustrated, she called Kunle. "Please, can you help me again?" "The car won't start," she said reluctantly. Kunle arrived on his noisy motorcycle within minutes. He examined the car while Zainab stood aside, fanning herself. Madam, you like wallow," Kunle said. "This your mechanic knows sabai work. I go help you fix him for now, but you need better maintenance." As he leaned over the bonnet, his greasy hands accidentally brushed against her hand. "Hey, careful," Zainab said sharply. "Please don't touch me with those dirty hands." Kunle paused and looked at her quietly for a moment. Then he smiled faintly. "Don't worry, madam. Dirt no day kill. It just shows we day work." Zainab felt a little guilty. She hadn't meant to sound rude, but she wasn't used to being around people who worked with their hands. Kunle fixed the issue again, then stepped back. "Okay, you fit go now." Zainab wanted to say thank you, but the word stuck in her throat. As she drove away, Kunle just shook his head and laughed. This one go learn humility one day." Meanwhile, Chief Oyemad was growing more impatient. One evening, he visited Zainab Bello's mansion wearing a flowing white egbada and gold wristwatch. He carried a bouquet of roses and an expensive handbag as a gift. "Good evening, madam," he greeted Zainab Bello. "I really want to take Zainab out this weekend." She is wasting time. Mama Bello smiled. Don't worry, Chief. I will talk to her again. She just needs more time to adjust. But when Zainab came downstairs and saw him, her mood changed immediately. Good evening, Chief, she said politely. Ah, Zainab, my darling, you look as beautiful as always, he said, trying to hold her hand. She stepped back. Thank you, but I'm not interested in dinner. Oyumide frowned. Why do you keep rejecting me? Do you think you will find better than me in Lagos? I can give you anything you want. I don't want anything, Chief. I just want my peace, she replied coldly. Oyumide's eyes darkened. We'll see. Mama Bello scolded her after he left. Zainab, you are making a powerful man angry. Be careful. But Zainab didn't care. She didn't want a man who tried to buy her love. 1 week later, Zainab was driving past Kunle construction site when she saw a crowd gathering. Curious, she slowed down. She saw Kunle lying on the ground, bleeding from a cut on his arm. A heavy wooden plank had fallen during work. Without thinking, Zainab parked and ran over. What happened? She asked, panicked. Kunle looked up weakly. Ah, Madam Billionaire, you day here? No worry, and a small injury. But the workers were frantic. We no get car to carry him go clinic. Zainab quickly opened her car door. Get him inside. I'll take him to the hospital. Everyone stayed in shock. You? Madam? Sucker asked. Yes. Hurry. They helped Kunle into the back seat. Zainab drove as fast as she could, ignoring her fear of blood. At the clinic, the nurse cleaned and stitched his wound. Kunle kept joking despite the pain. Madam, you see now? Sometimes N.A. poor people we day save rich people life, he teased. Zainab managed a small smile. Just rest, okay? Something about seeing him hurt made her feel strange. She didn't know why she cared. After that day, Zainab started visiting construction site more often. Sometimes she would bring Kunle food while he rested from work. They would sit on a wooden bench, eating roasted corn and talking about life. She learned that Kunle wasn't just a laborer. He had studied architecture at a polytechnic but couldn't afford to finish university. He worked construction jobs to survive while designing affordable housing plans in his free time. You could be working in an office, Zainab said one afternoon. Kunle shrugged. Office no day put food for my table right now. I believe one day my designs go reach the right people. For now, I just day hustle. Zainab admired his determination. She had never met someone so content with so little. Meanwhile, Kunle liked how Zainab listened without judging. She was different from the snobbish rich girls he imagined. Little by little, a quiet friendship grew between them. But neither of them knew their worlds were about to collide even more. When Zainab returned home one evening after visiting Kunle, Tai was waiting for her in the living room, scrolling through her phone. Tai said with a sly smile, where have you been this time? Don't tell me you went to that construction site again. Zainab frowned. So what if I did? Kunle got injured. I was just checking on him. Tai burst into laughter. Ah, just checking on him? My friend, you're falling for this guy and you don't even know it yet. Zainab shook her head. Please, I'm not falling for anyone. He's just different. That's all. Different, eh? Tai teased. Different enough to make Banana Island Madam go to Dusty Burgo? Better be careful before you fall completely. Zainab didn't reply. She just stared out the window, feeling a small smile creep onto her lips. But Zainab's frequent outings didn't go unnoticed. Mama Bello began to wonder why her daughter was always leaving the house without explanation. She asked one of the drivers to follow her discreetly. That evening, the driver returned with shocking news. Madam, he whispered, your daughter has been visiting construction site on the mainland and talking to a worker there. Mama Bello's eyes widened. A worker? You mean she's mixing with ordinary people? The driver nodded. Mama Bello's face hardened. I must stop this nonsense before it spoils her reputation. Meanwhile, Zainab was slowly learning more about Kunle's world. One afternoon, she saw him sketching something in a notebook during his break. "What's that?" she asked curiously. Kunle hesitated, then showed her. It was a neat drawing of a small but beautiful housing estate. "These are my designs," he explained. "I want to create affordable homes for low-income families. Simple but strong. People deserve better than leaking roofs and crowded rooms." Zainab stared at the drawings in awe. "This is amazing. Kunle, you're really talented." He smiled shyly. "Thanks. But nobody cares about ideas like this. Investors only look for big profits. I'm just a small man." Zainab felt a pang in her heart. She had never met someone so selfless. A few days later, Kunle invited Zainab to try street suya with him. At first, she hesitated. "Suya? As in meat by the roadside?" "Yes, now," Kunle laughed. "Don't worry, you won't die. You'll love it." They sat on a wooden bench near a suya stand, surrounded by the smoky smell of grilled meat. Zainab took a bite, and her eyes widened. This is actually delicious." Kunle laughed. "See? Billionaire tongue can still enjoy common man food." They also bought roasted corn and ground nuts. Zainab was awkward at first, but soon she was laughing freely. For the first time in years, she felt normal. No fancy cutlery, no fake friends, just laughter with someone real. But their growing closeness didn't stay secret for long. One evening, Chief Oyimide showed up at Zainab's house unannounced. He brought expensive gifts and a smug smile. "Zainab, why have you been avoiding me?" he asked, his voice full of authority. "I'm not avoiding you. I just don't want this," Zainab replied calmly. Chief Oyimide's eyes narrowed. "I heard rumors. They say you've been seen with a construction worker." Zainab froze. Oyimide stepped closer. "You will not embarrass me. You belong with me, not some nobody who carries cement. Tell that man to stay away, or he will regret it." Before she could answer, he stormed out, leaving her shaken. The next day, Kunle came to see her. "Madam, are you okay? You sound quiet today," he asked, noticing her mood. Zainab sighed. "Chief Oyimide threatened you. He said to stay away from me." Kunle frowned. "Threatened me? For what? Is it a crime to talk to you?" "It's dangerous, Kunle. Maybe we should stop seeing each other," Zainab said softly. Kunle shook his head. "So that's it? Just because some big man is angry?" "Zainab, I don't care about his money or his threats. I won't let anyone control my life." Zainab looked torn. She wanted to believe him, but fear clouded her heart. Things got worse when Zainab Bello confronted her. "Zainab, I know about that construction worker. Are you trying to disgrace this family?" "Mummy, he's a good man." "Good man? He is poor. He can never give you the life you deserve. You are marrying Chief Oyimide, and that's final." Zainab couldn't take it anymore. She packed a small bag and left the mansion that night. She went straight to Kunle's small apartment and knocked on the door. Kunle opened it, surprised. "Zainab, what are you doing here at this time?" I can't stay there anymore. Can I stay here for a while?" she asked softly. Kunle hesitated for a moment, then stepped aside. "Of course. Come in." Living in Kunle's simple apartment was a huge shock for Zainab. The bathroom was tiny, and she had to fetch water in a bucket. The generator made loud noises at night. The neighbors were noisy and always borrowing salt or matches. One morning, Zainab tried to make tea, but the gas stove wouldn't light. How do you people survive here?" she cried in frustration. Kunle laughed. "Welcome to real life. Don't worry, you'll adjust." Despite the discomfort, she found joy in little things, eating a car from the roadside, chatting with friendly neighbors, and seeing how Kunle lived happily with so little. Slowly, she realized she was experiencing something money could never buy: freedom. The moment Mama Bello discovered that Zainab had left the mansion, she almost fainted. "My daughter ran away," she shouted at the maids. "Where did she go?" One of the drivers stammered, "Madam, I think she went to that construction man's place." Mama Bello's face turned red with rage. "What? Zainab Bello living with a common laborer? God forbid." She immediately called Chief Oyamide. "Chief, it's worse than we thought. She's staying with him now. You must do something before the media finds out." Oyamide smirked on the other end of the line. "Leave it to me. I will teach that boy a lesson he'll never forget." Meanwhile, in Kunle's small apartment, Zainab was sweeping the floor awkwardly. She wore one of Kunle's old T-shirts because she didn't bring many clothes. Kunle came in carrying roasted plantain. "Ah, Madam Billionaire, you day sweep?" he teased. She laughed lightly. "I'm trying. It's harder than it looks." "You see? Rich people fit survive poor life if DM humble small," Kunle said with a wink. Zainab smiled, but her mind was heavy. She knew her mother and Oyamide wouldn't give up so easily. The next afternoon, Kunle was working at the site when two big men in suits arrived. "Are you Kunle?" one of them asked. "Yes. Who are you?" Kunle replied cautiously. Before he could react, the men grabbed him roughly. "Oyamide sends his regards," one whispered. They pushed him into a waiting car and drove him to a secluded warehouse. Inside, Chief Oyamide was waiting. "So you're the small boy who thinks he can take what belongs to me," Oyamide said coldly. "Listen carefully. Stay away from Zainab, or I'll ruin you. I can make sure you never work in this city again." Kunle stared at him, unafraid. "You can threaten me all you want, but you can't force her to love you." Oyamide's eyes narrowed. He slapped Kunle across the face, then signaled his men to dump him back near the construction site. Later that evening, Zainab saw Kunle limping into the apartment with bruises. "Oh my God, Kunle, what happened?" she cried. He smiled faintly. "Your rich admirer sent me a message. But don't worry, I'm still standing." Zainab felt tears fill her eyes. "This is my fault. I dragged you into this mess." Kunle shook his head. "No, it's not your fault. It's just the kind of world we live in." Despite the threats, Zainab and Kunle grew closer. They spent their evenings cooking simple meals together, laughing over silly jokes. Sometimes they would sit outside under the stars, talking about their dreams. Zainab confessed, "You know, Kunle, I've been surrounded by luxury all my life, but I've never felt this free. Hey, nobody expects me to be perfect. I can just be me." Kunle smiled softly. "And I've never met someone like you either. You make me believe I can be more than what people see." Their connection deepened. It was no longer just friendship. It was something real, something neither of them wanted to admit yet. But they both knew the storm was far from over. One day, while Kunle was showing Zainab more of his housing designs, she got an idea. "Kunle, these plans are brilliant. My family's company invests in housing projects. What if I showed these to some people I know? Maybe you could get a contract to build affordable homes." Kunle hesitated. "You would do that for me?" "Of course," Zainab said. "You deserve a chance to prove yourself." She took the sketches and showed them to a trusted manager in Bello Properties. The man was impressed. "These designs are simple but very practical," he said. "If he can execute them well, we might consider a pilot project." For the first time in years, Kunle saw hope for his dream. But Mama Bello found out and was furious. "You're giving a construction contract to a roadside worker," she yelled. "Are you trying to shame this family?" Zainab stood her ground. "No, Mummy, I'm helping someone who deserves it, and I'm not ashamed of him." Mama Bello was speechless. A week later, there was a big charity gala at Eco Hotel. Mama Bello forced Zainab to attend. Chief Oyamide was also there, wearing an expensive agbada and a smug look. During the event, Oyamide stood up and made an announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to officially declare my intention to marry the beautiful Zainab Bello." The crowd clapped. Cameras flashed. Everyone turned to Zainab. She froze for a second, then took the microphone. "Thank you, Chief, but I cannot accept," she said clearly. I don't love you, and I will not marry someone just because he is rich or powerful. The whole went silent. I have found someone who treats me with respect. Someone who sees me as a person, not a prize, she continued. Oyumaid's face turned dark with anger. You're rejecting me for a poor construction worker. Yes, Zainab said calmly, because he is what money cannot buy, kindness and integrity. Gasps filled the room. Zainab Bello nearly fainted from embarrassment. The news spread like wildfire. Social media went crazy. Billionaire heiress reject tycoon for construction worker. Some people mocked Zainab, saying she was foolish. Others admired her bravery. Meanwhile, Oyumaid tried to destroy Kunle's reputation. He spread rumors that Kunle was a scammer. He even bribed some site managers to fire him. But something unexpected happened. Bello Properties board members reviewed Kunle's housing designs and loved them. Despite the scandal, they decided to give him a chance. Kunle was hired as a consultant for a new affordable housing project. For the first time, his talent was recognized. Seeing how determined Zainab was, Zainab Bello finally decided to meet Kunle. She arrived at his modest office, now upgraded slightly because of his new job. She sat down, looking at him with a mix of pride and worry. Kunle, she said, I still don't think you're the kind of man my daughter should marry. But I can see you truly care for her, and you're not just sitting idle. You're working hard for a better future. Kunle nodded respectfully. Madam, I may not be rich now, but I will always protect and respect your daughter. That I can promise you. Zainab Bello sighed. Let's see where this goes. Don't disappoint her. It wasn't full approval, but it was a start. Months passed. Kunle successfully completed his first small housing project under Bello Properties. His designs gained attention, and more contracts followed. Zainab supported him at every step. She even visited the new construction sites with him, wearing a simple hard hat and casual clothes. They laughed together, planned together, and slowly started building a future, not just for themselves, but for others who needed affordable homes. Their love was no longer a secret. People began to accept it, even admire it. A year later, Lagos witnessed the most unusual wedding. Instead of a lavish Banana Island ceremony, Kunle and Zainab chose a simple outdoor wedding. Guests from both worlds attended. Construction workers in clean clothes and high-class socialites in designer outfits. Zainab Bello sat in the front row, looking surprisingly proud. Even Sokka wore a proper suit, though he still cracked jokes. When Kunle and Zainab exchanged vows, there wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. Chief Oyumaid didn't show up. Rumors said his businesses were struggling after some shady deals were exposed. Zainab and Kunle proved that love could truly cross any boundary. After the wedding, Kunle and Zainab didn't move into a massive mansion. Instead, they renovated a modest but beautiful home close to the housing project they were managing. Zainab still visited her family often, but she preferred the simpler life she built with Kunle. She had finally found peace. Kunle's affordable housing initiative expanded, giving many families better homes. He became known not just as Zainab's husband, but as an architect who changed lives. Sometimes, they would sit together in the evening, eating roasted corn and laughing about how it all started on Third Mainland Bridge. Can you believe this is where life brought us? Zainab would say. Kunle would smile and reply, even billionaires can break down sometimes. And sometimes, that's how they find the right mechanic for their heart. And so, they lived not a perfect life, but a real one, full of love, laughter, and purpose.